Welcome to Game Changer Weekly. John, how are you doing tonight?
I feel like I'm either applying for a job or at a funeral, friend. How are you doing tonight?
I ain't trying to be called a poor on our own podcast tonight, so I had to dress the part. And yeah, I'm feeling good, man.
Yeah, billionaire's coming on. We don't want to look bad for a billionaire friend, so you know. Well, welcome to everybody who's been here. Clown, I saw you were in here for quite a while. James also, let's see, James and Jim. Great one. Says, can't wait to see this interview with the cleanest baby face in GCW history. Reed Harris, great to see you also. William Bruno in the house. Great one also. Who are these public defenders and what do they do with the GCW Weekly guys? We'll talk about that. But at one point,
it was afraid of this.
He comes on wearing a hoodie. You know, that would be freaking a wife beater.
Oh,
a wife beater.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks, hey, Jim. We're looking great today.
We're gonna try to look good, man.
I don't know. We thought it was just a funny little thing. I wish I had like a dress shirt or something. Tonight's just the anti-social club. So we just got our raid 2, a big chump. Thank you so much for Effie, everybody coming in tonight. Reed, never apologize that we didn't see you last week. You know how it is, right? We always talk to you. Just DM me always. We can always talk. Drunk Driver, there we go. That's another one from the raid. It's going to be a great night tonight at this point here. Everybody's kind of flowing in right now. And, well, I don't know if anybody has a chance to know, but we've been slowly upgrading things. I actually am on a clear system now for once. All of these technical problems was because I was on Google Chrome and I had to switch over to Firefox. No kidding. That's what held up things. Also, just for fun, I've got something here.
Fucking bullshit!
And
Jesus!
So maybe not this show because this is for interviews, but you know.
They ought to let some of the people in the seats run the company, and they ought to be occupying aforesaid seats.
Man, we can't be playing cornet wearing these suits here.
No. Anyway, yeah, we're really jazzing it up here tonight so far, but yeah, we're excited to have Charles Mason on. He's getting all of his stuff together, and we'll have him here shortly. What are you thinking? What do you want to talk about first, B? Just to kind of go around the horn a little bit here.
Breaking news, Blake Christian back in GCW. I'm excited for that. Kind of felt like he's been gone for a little bit. So seeing him announce for I think it was a show or two, if not a group of shows, is I was happy for it. And yeah, one show so far, St. Louis. So hopefully that means he gets some more dates down the line as well.
Here we are again, where just a year ago we were booing him and giving him trouble. And now we're like, you know what, if we can just see him, since he's already on to ROH and whatnot, we'll take that as a bonus right now. Same thing with, we were talking about like Megan Bain, how she's been signed. And, you know, these dates are primarily tentative to a degree. So,
and he's got Kenny Omega tomorrow night. I think, I don't know. I think that one's going to be like Vikingo versus Kenny Omega for me. Him finally getting able, finally able to get the chance to show off against Kenny Omega is going to be awesome to see. And I hope he shines like how Vikingo did a couple years ago. And James with the 1999.
Dude,
thank you, James.
James, thank you. Literally, thank you so much. DM me when you get a chance. Yes. That is absolutely awesome. Yeah, Game Changer Weekly, best independent wrestling podcast thing. Hey, it's a good time to say that and get a snapshot now while we have our suits on, so we can do this.
Thank you very much, James.
East Coast correspondent Frankie in the house here said, I forgot it was Mason night. My first thought was, shit, who died? Yeah.
Return to Vanilla Blake with no real goodbye to Crazy Blake. Yeah, I was kind of upset that too. Is hopefully like maybe he could experiment with it down here in GCW and still do his Vanilla Baby and Ring of Honor and kind of see where it goes. I think that's what's kind of good about independent wrestling, and I think that should be used a little bit more often of trying out different characters and different promotions and see what works and see what's getting reactions.
We've talked about this on the independent scene a couple of times. We have some performers that may be doing the same thing for years, and it's almost like their career is just kind of stagnant. It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down. It just kind of maintains that, that low flight pattern. And yeah, we were talking about before how sometimes you have to reinvent yourself. Try something new. What happens if something crazy that you had an idea in the back of your head just suddenly works? What do we have here? Great One says, I feel like you can revisit Crazy Blake later if AEW run doesn't pan out. Absolutely. What do you think about a crazy Blake run? Oh, you're muted.
Dang, there it goes. Sorry. Yeah, I was kind of hoping they do go back to it. I think it had some legs. Like I said, I was thinking that and the Leo Rush thing, it kind of had a similar feel, but Leo Rush couldn't use it. I thought Blake could have used it since he didn't have anything kind of going character-wise at the time. So yeah, I feel that's a great point, though. Great One made. If this doesn't work out, he has something else he could still try again and fall back on.
Oh, absolutely. Welcome, TJ. Also, welcome, Drew Parker fan. That's one of your people right there, B. Draven, welcome.
Yeah.
Also.
Sorry, here I'm pulling up the.
Wow, there's all kinds of stuff going on here. Yeah, B is a huge fan. So that you guys are kindred spirits on that one. Draven said, I got to see Crazy Blake last ATL run, and it was great. I'm guessing that was at center stage. Frankie said, it's not like crowds get mad if you go back to the same old gimmicks after something doesn't pan out. Yeah, Jimmy Lloyd is a great example in this one. Jimmy Lloyd was Scramble Jimmy for the longest time. Let's break here. You're what you thinking?
No, go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
I was just saying that, for the longest time, we had Jimmy Lloyd kind of doing the same thing. Then he slides into Broski Jimmy, which ends up, really developing him more on the microphone. I thought that was fantastic. And now here we are back to the Jimmy we kind of know and love. And we find out that we're a little more fond of Deathmatch Jimmy and a little more fond of Scramble Jimmy than maybe we thought.
Yeah, and I just like hearing the music again. I was kind of hoping we get more Deathmatch Jimmy. It's still early to see what happens, but he's so versatile, they'll still throw him in wherever. I think this is a good point, too, from James. Blake and Fuego would have been a nice feud heading in collective. It makes a lot of sense as a way to build himself back up. And Fuego, like, you're not going to use my name to kind of do like him kind of like, pulling a surprise move after Blake kind of lost the belt as like that surprise kind of victory would have been a cool little way to start it. But anyway, Blake and Fuego would have been a nice feud. Center stage got hit with light tubes. Draven did.
Drew Parker fan says, I feel like Jimmy's one of those guys who, like Drew Parker, can do pretty much anything. I agree with that 100% too. B, you're the same way. Parker's like universal. I mean, he can be used. He's like an everything tool that can be used in any position. Tag, death match. He can wrestle. Thank goodness. You know what I mean? So that's another thing that really, he doesn't need to be swinging light tubes. I feel like all that violence is just a bonus when it comes to Drew Parker.
That's why
TJ?
I was excited to see him in the J Cup to kind of show off a little bit of that style that he hasn't really shown off so much.
Yeah, you know what? It happens more overseas than it does here. It seems like we always bring him over more for deathmatch. So yeah, it's kind of refreshing to be able to see that he doesn't need to go ultra violent, to have a satisfying 10, 15-minute match, the crowd's just happy with. Let's see here. Yeah, Draven said, I'm just now getting into Drew Parker, already a big fan. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Draven. Maybe you have. Well, actually, I think in LA or in ATL, he was using darts. That's the one thing I can't do is darts, man. Real tight spot. We just had another raid.
Oh,
I don't know who that was, but real tight spot. Welcome. Yeah, man, that's our second raid tonight so far. It's been one of those nights. I love this. TJ says, I love darts. There's a lot of sick fucks that love darts, guys. I mean, what can I say? That's one of the only things that I'm not a huge fan of. I always feel like a dart can puncture something. I don't know. I'm not Mr. Obviously, I'm not a picture of good health, so it's not like I understand how health works very well. Oh, yeah, Tight Spot said I came in on the Effie Ray. Yes. Thank you so much, Effie. We love you out there. Again, James, man, we appreciate you so much for that. Like I said, DM me when you get a chance, and we'll chit-chat for a couple minutes there. Let's see. Anything else here on that? Okay, so I'm going to go over here real quick. Our next weekend coming up is going to have GCW's No Compadre. That's going to be from Talia Hall in Chicago, Illinois.
That card was crazy.
Okay, I was going to say, is there anything you wanted to talk about on that card that kind of stands out to you?
That four-person death match. I know it kind of got changed here. I think Brett said. Let me pull it up here real fast. Yeah, No Compadre. They got Matt versus Otis now. It is. Sorry, I'm.
Wait. Matt Tremont versus Otis.
Yep, Matt Tremont versus Otis. That got changed.
Okay.
And because I think it was supposed to be Matt versus Mance, and then Mance can't do it now. Yeah, so then that got changed. I'm trying to scroll, man. That's going down there. Oh, yeah, here we go. The John Wayne Murdoch, Justice, Dr. Redacted, and Tommy Vendetta. I think that's going to be match of the night. Like these multi-person death matches I've been in for. Like these scrambles, like they got that scramble. Oh, we can talk about that. The scramble cage match at Joey Janela's, was it Spring Break or Clusterfuck? That's going to be insane. I wonder who's going to be in that and how ultra-violent or how crazy it's going to be there. But that's going to be just the thought of it's going to be fun, man.
What about that 55 and over scramble?
That one's going to be fun. Action Jackson.
Yeah. So I was talking about that with someone online. We have Action Mike Jackson is one of the ones we think. George South is another one that I could see going in. Ricky Morton could go into this. A couple of the ECW originals, I think, are hitting 55 or above. So, I mean, the AARP Invitational is probably looking really good here. Havoc,
here's
which is,
TJ. Yeah. I want to see. They didn't announce Suzuki yet, right? Like I know they teased it on their Twitter, the DDT Twitter, who Suzuki is going to be defending the belt against. But you know me, I'm happy to see Suzuki too. So I was kind of hoping to be Bodie as a 6th person in this.
Are you thinking Sin Bodie? Is he 55 yet?
I think he's on Bodie BYD.
Oh, little.
I don't think it's a scramble. Is it a scramble or is it a cluster? I thought it was a cluster as well.
I couldn't tell you. I think I saw 6 people, like 6 figures that need to be filled in. Yeah, he's thinking Bodie Young Prodigy. So we're gonna have a bunch of 55-year-olds and then an 18-year-old or 17-year-old kid.
Suzuki versus Yoshi Iku. Oh my goodness! All right, I'm about to say I want to see Chris Brooks, but if not, I'll take Yoshi Iku and Suzuki.
Well, I still say there's a possibility this can happen if we can get Bodie Young Prodigy and we can get Action Mike Jackson together. There's a possibility we could get the longest stretch generation wrestling match available over the collective weekend. And that's huge because, I mean, that pedigree for Action Mike Jackson goes all the way back to, I think, Buddy Rogers. Or
deep dive on that one show.
Yeah, I did a huge deep dive, and it goes back to someone really big, which means if he wrestled Action Mike Jackson, he's wrestled someone that's wrestled. I cannot remember the name off the top of my head. Here we go. Reed Harris Cooper said Sandman, Damien 666, PCO, Shane Douglas, JBL, all not in the match, but they will be in Vegas.
I was happy to see as much as Shane Douglas put in last year, if I'm not mistaken. Like him and Tommy Dreamer, and like I think there was one other legend. I was like happy they went like 10, 15 minutes when they didn't have to. And like I think it was Shane Douglas, and that kind of sucks. I was kind of hoping to see him again. Ron Simmons, that's it. Damn.
Ron PCO Simmons, I mean, yeah, PCO. I don't know if we'll see him back for a while there. And then Reed Harris Cooper. I'm so sorry, Reed. Said he threw out Snitsky, Warlord, Nord, and Barbarian, but Joey didn't respond.
Misses the boat about 7 months. Hey,
RVD misses the boat by 7 months.
We'll make an exception.
You never know. Stoners always show up late to shit. Maybe he's already 55. We don't know it yet.
I'm about to say he's in the future.
Oh, 1 minute ago announced for Portland. Do you have anything up on this real quick? One of our fans just said.
Bollywood Boys versus Midnight Heat. That's gonna be good for that crowd.
I don't think I know Midnight Heat either. That's going to be a new one for me at least.
I think we've seen them once or twice on GCW, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong though. Like, and I think they're like really good heels, if I'm not mistaken. If I could be completely wrong though, think of a different team. Oops.
I like the fact that we just have 2 deathmatch bangers on this card. Like you said, you have the Matt Tremont match, and then you have that 4-way. I feel like a year ago we wouldn't have gotten those 2 on the same card. And I don't know. I feel fortunate. I'm really a big fan of Tommy Vendetta, of course, Dr. Redacted. He's on a rise right now too. It's
Yep.
Do you think any ladders will be involved in that 4-way match?
Yeah, and I think Doc's got the title the next night, if I'm not mistaken, title match. Yeah, in Chicago. One of the nights in Chicago. Oh, the second night.
Yeah, great one said Midnight Heat is Ricky Gibson, aka Ricky from Seattle, and Eddie Pearl. Definitely new to me. Unless they'd been on a show that I can't remember. We've done so many reviews, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I remember seeing them. It could be on a Defy show even. I could have maybe seen him.
Well, I know this much. Our listeners like him. So
yeah, and I know they're out there too, so that's going to be a perfect tag match for that crowd.
Okay,
now, here we go. So yeah, the Dr. Redacted versus Effie the next night. So yeah, see how crazy it gets the night before in that ladder match.
ZMZO, welcome. Good to see you coming into chat here tonight. Also, I want to go on to GCW's America's Most Wanted 2025 from Pop's Nightclub in Sauget, Illinois. The one that's sticking out to me right off the bat is Matt Tremont versus the Bev. What's your thoughts on having the Bev at GCW?
Nice to see this return against Tremont getting thrown in right away into a title match. That's going to be fun. And Bev's been on a roll lately too, so it's nice to see him back and just show how much he's grown. I was actually kind of looking forward to Stackhouse and Otis in the death match. Finish or start off and maybe finish a little bit of that story from Phoenix.
And that match is still on, right?
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yep, there's another one. Welcome back, Bev. Is Mance Warner off of both cards this weekend?
I do not know. I don't think they announced both cards. I know the one for sure. Because I don't know. I think Bane's on the Sunday one, so I think they'll probably have a Sunday. He might still be there Sunday against Gary J. Mance is on Sunday. Yeah, okay.
And then in kind of a classic matchup, Dante Leon versus Jack Cartwheel.
That's gonna be fun.
You know, it's just those two have met up so many times in scrambles. I feel like this is just a natural progression on this one, and I feel like as many matches as they've had together at GCW, they should be semi comfortable with each other in ring.
Yeah, I think getting the opportunity to shine in a one-on-one match is a big deal for me because, like you said, we always see them in scrambles and being able to see them kind of tell a story throughout a singles match. But who's going to be healed there? That's Dante Leon's kind of just a natural face. That's going to be interesting. Yeah, perfect representation of the cruiserweights.
Also, Dante Leon is coming from that time where, to me, in my head, the scramble pool of talent was just through the roof in that 2021, 2022 years, especially.
I want to see more of that. I want to see him like more using that WWID kind of like swag and kind of arrogance as a heel character. I think that would fit him perfectly, especially with that robe now and everything. And he works really good heel with Gringo.
You know, we see him smiling and happy all the time. Those are the type of people I think that are always fun as faces, because I feel like the fans are used to feel good. And then when they pull some bullshit, it's like it hits them right in the heart.
Yep.
Let's see what else we have. Okay. This one I have to talk about. The tag team of the Rejects versus Too Tough Tony and Mickey Knuckles.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know where to start on that one because that one just has craziness all over it. Mickey Knuckles and GCW ring with Too Tough Tony. That one's yeah, exactly. I think that one's wild.
Well, you have tough and old school grit. That's exactly what Mickey is. And I've for the longest time felt like she is GCW. Like she has that. I mean, it's like Cyclope. You can just beat him to the ground and he's still going to get up and keep, like, you have to kill him to stop him. And Mickey's just been that. And also for as many decades as Mickey has put in, I feel like since GCW is the premier place for things like this, then we should have the premier death matchers. And I feel like she's one of those.
Yeah, and I want to see how much that's going to lead into that JCW programming there and that show, because I know they've been kind of hyping that up today too.
Man, oh man. And then Too Tough Tony, I still think he would be fun in a tag team with Tombstone Jesus. I think we should call them the Barbecue Boys. I don't know. They have July 4th chill vibes.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, John. I think that will be it for all of that, as our special guest is ready and waiting. I'll let you do the intro and then we'll get him in here.
All right. Well, take it easy.
I'll get him in first.
You know what? We'll pop him in here in just a second. How about that? Okay. I'll just run through his little. All right. So listeners, we have a very special guest with us tonight, Mr. Charles Mason. Hailing from New York, he's 31 years old and closing in on 10 years in-ring experience. He's wrestled over 200 plus matches in his career, with the most he's wrestled in 1 year at 31 in 2023. Charles' most appearances were for GCW 61 times, House of Glory 39 times, and Limitless Wrestling 15 times. He's a 5-time champion, averaged 218 days per major title reign, and is the current PWJ champion 54 days and running. I'll have a list of his title reigns. The PPW No Limits champion, 91 days. House of Glory Suicidal 6-way champion, 120 days. House of Glory Tag Team champion as the Cold Blooded Killers, 232 days. And his longest title reign, the House of Glory Crown Jewel Championship, a shining 595 days. His notable stables and tag teams, the Masons with Alex Mason, Rich and Powerful with Richard Holiday and Perro, and the Cold Blooded Killers with Nolo Catano, Raheem Royal, and Jay Armani. Charles has participated in 6 tournaments in his career and made it to the semifinals or finals in 4 of those. His first match at GCW was over 4 years ago at Fight Forever, Jimmy Lloyd's Up All Night, on January 30th, 2021. He debuted on the PWI 500 in 2021 at 495, and his highest ever ranking was in 2023 at number 251. Trained by Amazing Red at House of Glory, Mason's technical prowess complements his storytelling, allowing him to weave compelling feuds that amplify his larger-than-life personality. He's a unique and captivating figure, a master manipulator who's meticulous about his mystique, revealing only what he chooses, only when it's necessary. He harnesses a quintessential evil, thriving on the disdain of others. The psychological grip he wields over fans and enemies pulls them into his twisted world of darkness, infatuation, and menace. Everyone, settle into your seats, because tonight, that world comes alive for us now. Listeners and fans, I would like to welcome to the show, the root of all evil, Charles Mason. Welcome, Charles Mason. How you doing tonight?
Hello, gentlemen. That was quite impressive. not necessarily your delivery, just all my accolades. Everything I've accomplished is pretty impressive. It's nice to hear it back.
I'll tell you what, you've done so many wonderful things. It's always nice to catch everyone up on the important things that our guest has done tonight.
Yeah, I've done a lot, and you got all of it. Yeah.
We dressed up for you, brother. We wanted to make sure that we didn't look too much like pores.
No, you can't hide it. You tried. I appreciate the effort, but you can't hide it. I'm comfortable. I'm in a nice just black shirt with a glass of white wine, and I'm ready to go.
Damn, I tried, man. I tried, man.
Yeah, we're just not these guys. We're just not these guys. We can't do it, man. Oh, all right.
It's more comfortable.
Now it's a party.
Now it's more comfortable. All right.
Well, first off, thanks for coming on, Charles. We really do appreciate the time that you spend with us.
For sure. Yeah, no, it's I listened to the show quite a bit, and I thought, what the hell, why not come on for a little bit?
Excellent. Thank you. Well, we really appreciate you, brother. Trained by Amazing Red. What a great pedigree that is. Sometimes, veterans will drop knowledge on you that you don't take seriously at that time, but over the years, you find that knowledge to be true. Could you name something that Red taught you that has rung true throughout your career?
I guess it would be, he's taught me a lot of things in the ring and quite a bit outside of the ring also. I guess it would be just, being careful and thoughtful of who you really interact with and your surroundings and who you really trust. Naturally, I have trouble trusting others, but every now and then I give in, sometimes to people who come from the same pedigree as I. And as we've seen in recent months, that kind of backfired. So his words rang true. Maybe I shouldn't trust people in this industry as much as I thought I could.
Only as much as you can afford.
Yeah.
Now, for your newer fans, is there a possibility you can name a match in your career you're most proud of and you think maybe everyone should see as an introductory to Charles Mason?
Man, that's a good question. I have a few. I've wrestled Jake something at House of Glory. That was a really fun match. It was great to pick apart someone of that size. I like my victims all different sizes, and I wrestled Brian Keith at House of Glory. Was great. But I think the one that sticks out, if you really want to know who I am, is the cage match that I had with Ali Catch. That was a long feud, me and her. And it was the final match in the carousel room. Final match there. And we kind of let everything out, put everything on the line. And I might have lost that match, but if you look at the final clip, I went down with a smile on my face.
Yeah, you always put stuff like that in there, and only when you're paying attention do you really get it. I love how that's set up like that. I really would like to see you and her go back again, but I know there's a time for everything.
Yeah, sure. There's also a time for someone's leg to heal. Eventually, I don't know if she has health care. She's probably too poor to have the funding to. I saw that she got a lot of money in the GoFundMe thing, but people like her, they'll use it on something else, maybe drugs. I don't know. But if her leg is ever in good shape again, who knows? Maybe we can stand in the ring again together, maybe side by side, maybe across from each other. Who knows?
What is your fascination with leg injuries?
It's something about the sound of a ligament popping. Right? Have you ever heard that sound? Have you ever heard the sound of bone cracking? Now, the strongest bone in the body is the femur. I've sawed through those before, and there's just nothing like it. I was there live when she broke her leg, and I could hear her scream in agony. I wish I was close enough to hear the snapping of that bone, but I was close enough sometime in Toronto with one Jordan Oliver, and I made it very clear, and I was very vocal about how much I enjoyed hearing those ligaments and those tendons just popping. It does something to me.
Music is what it sounds like. It's poetry.
Music to my ears.
Oh, what's the story of how you and GCW began working together? Who found who in this back and forth?
So Brett found me. I believe it was Brett. Maybe someone put my video in front of him, but I filmed myself and a lovely secretary where I had put a bag over her face as I made her make a call to a promotion that I was wrestling at to let them know that I would be there. And I guess he saw it, and he was impressed by what he saw, and he knew that the GCW world kind of needed someone like me, someone as vicious as me, someone who can bring what they were lacking. And I believe my first match was, actually, you mentioned it. It was at Jimmy Lloyd's all night long, the 24-hour show, me versus Ken Broadway, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. And from there, I wrestled a bit on JCW. And if you remember, me and my good friend Everett Connors had quite the interactions together. And I'm probably the reason why he's married now. So I guess everything can have some things can have a happy ending. But yeah, Brett saw a vignette of mine, saw me recording one of my sins, and took a liking to me. And the rest is history.
Creativity is just so thin on the independent scene. And I think that could have also been what grabs Brett and also the fans, is the fact that you're giving everyone something to chew on instead of just walking out, do your 8 minutes, walk back, night's over.
Yeah, no, I think the Indies is full of people, full of guys and girls who do that, right? They fulfill their 8 minutes, and they're 8 to 10, and they try to do something that is impressive enough that maybe it can go a little viral, or they can get a clip that they can share. I don't care as much about that as I care about inflicting as much pain and kind of receiving a little bit of it also. In that wrestling ring, it's my playground, and if it just so happens that it captivates people, my pleasure is captivating for others to watch, then I guess I'm doing something right, and it's good that I'm the one doing it, and I think I do it better than anybody else.
I think that's fair to say. What is the one move that you have that you feel has proven the most dangerous?
Oh, it's a good question. There are moves that I find dangerous. There are moves that I find fun. But I would say the most dangerous one is one that I've been doing quite recently, which is a Gotch tombstone, where I will put someone in a tombstone position. And, I did a regular tombstone for a long time. And people started to brace for it. They were ready for it. And I found that when I would take my hand and just put it between their legs and really drive them down, right? And their head would just smash against the mat, that they wouldn't move much afterwards. So I enjoy that. And you can hear the crunch in the neck. You can hear the spine compress. It's lovely. I love it. And it's I've done it to Jordan Oliver. I did it to Steve Macklin. That's how I acquired the PWJ championship. Other than that, the sleeper. When I wrap my arms, these beautiful arms, around someone's throat, and I crush their trachea, and I can feel the pulse start to shorten, and their life fade from their bodies. Now that one's both fun and dangerous. And then there's that rolling DVD thing I do. That's pretty fun. I do that just for shits and giggles. That's a good time. It hurts. Apparently, people don't like it. I could see the agony in their face. And that's why I stay on my knees and I stare. It's a thrill to watch. That one's just for fun. If it hurts, that's a great side effect, but it's just there for a good time.
Going back to the sleeper, we've seen you use piano wire. Which do you prefer, using piano wire or feeling it, the actual feeling of the throat crushing in your arms?
Yeah, there's nothing beats the feeling of my flesh on their flesh, and maybe one day your flesh. The piano wire is fun, right? It feels like I'm just kind of sawing through their skin, right? If you've seen anybody afterwards, they have a nice just ring around their throat when I'm done with them. But no, there's nothing like flesh on flesh.
I also had a question about, feeling a little antsy there, TJ. Your suits. What was the time that you regretted wrestling in the suit the most?
The time that I regretted wrestling in the suit the most. It was the night that I got arrested. It was the night that Richard Holiday decided to turn me in. That's the only time that one of my suits ripped and my pants ripped by the end of that match with Fuego. I didn't notice at the moment because I was in handcuffs. I was worried about going to prison. But as soon as I was pardoned, I went to my tailor and we had a nice chat. And let's say I have a new one, and I don't think anybody's ever going to see that man again. But I don't think that's going to happen again. But that's probably the only other embarrassing time or rough time in the suit. I've wrestled in the rain in the suit against Lee Moriarty. Moving in the suit it's fabulous. It's easy. It's what I'm accustomed to wearing, so it's the most comfortable thing for me.
So a poor like me has to ask, what is the dollar amount of those suits you wear?
I can't tell you. I'm not going to tell you how much these suits cost. They're in the thousands, obviously. Way more than you can afford. Your shirt is disgusting. I don't know. Where'd you get your shirt? Tell me where you got your shirt.
Fancy place called Kohl's.
What is Kohl's? Tell me more about Kohl's. What is that?
It's a store. Has a nice little dress up section.
Do they give it away for free? Is that
no, but pretty close.
Just go, you pick out of the rack whatever fits you, and you just take it with you. That's what that looks like. That's disgusting.
Sorry, I tried my
maybe
best.
Maybe I'll be a little philanthropist and throw you some dollars, and maybe you can get yourself something nicer.
I'll happily take that. Thank you.
Hey, my shirt's cheap as shit too, bro.
Yeah,
I'll take some money.
No, you stay where you are wearing those shirts, okay?
Yeah.
One offer per show.
Fuck.
So we've seen you presented in GCW, and we've seen your presentation in House of Glory and some other promotions. How do you feel your presentation kind of differs a little bit from promotion to promotion, and how you are presented to their fans?
That's a great question. I think however someone decides to present me, ultimately I am the presenter. I am the presentation. I've been places where they have had the wrong music for me. It didn't matter. I had places where they had a video package for me that they made that was subpar. It didn't matter. Once I step through the curtain, once I step out a door, whatever they have me come out of, I am the presentation, and I captivate. Right, I leave people in awe. House of Glory is somewhere I've been champion multiple times and will be champion again. And they know that I am the best thing to come out of there. And they don't want to jeopardize losing me. GCW, they know that I am one of the most dangerous people in that locker room, whether they love me or hate me. And trust me, Brett sometimes hates me and hates what I do. But I think they have enough respect for what I do to present me at the best of their ability.
Now I have to ask you here, under what venues, hot lights are your favorite killing grounds? Do you have a venue you prefer to find your victims at?
Well, a venue to find them at, or a venue to
yeah.
wrestle? Look, I find people all over the world. I find in different situations. Sometimes they come to me. Sometimes I seek them out. If you're talking about as far as where I would like to, inflict pain and hurt the poor in front of which crowds, Amazura is the main place for House of Glory. I have a lot of memories there. It's kind of home to me. So I'm comfortable there. But it used to be, I used to like the Carousel Room a lot before I had the final match there. Hammerstein, obviously, right? Hammerstein's a great venue to be a part of. But I think the Ukraine, what is it, Ukraine Cultural Center?
Yes.
That is one of my favorite venues. It's large, it's bright. I can see them in the crowd. They can see me. I remember I was once choking Effie, and I was locking eyes with people in the crowd, like just eyes locked into each other. And it's just a beautiful place to wrestle, to fight, to hurt, all that.
Lighting wise, when I was ringside watching you in LA, I've noticed LA has this gorgeous golden glow, the Ukrainian Center, and it brings out that red blood color.
Yeah.
Something intense.
Yeah, I don't know if I bled there or if I just made other people bleed there. Regardless, the red, it's glossy in that light.
Now, men of influence like yourself can have followers. Could you name a few things others have done to get your attention over the years?
Oh, when I was in prison, I had lots of fan mail. People were sending things in to me. Um, some things were a little odd, but I come to expect it at this point. People kind of lusting over me, and it kind of comes. Look at me, I'm beautiful, right? This is just pure genetics. It's a long line of just great DNA passed down. But I think one of the most interesting things someone has done to get my attention is there is someone out there who has the root of all evil tattooed on their abdomen, and yeah, I thought that was great. That's someone who was loyal to me. That woman, I can ask her to do anything, and I know she'll do it. If she can have my name on her forever, she'll do anything for me.
If we only had influence, B.
Yeah.
The
money,
crowd
yeah.
loves to yell "fuck you" with your entrance song. Was that something planned or unplanned?
That was unplanned. You mean as far as me? Hey, you should say "fuck you" to me when I come out. No,
Yeah.
no, absolutely not. That was pure disdain that was built up for me over years. I've hurt the people that they loved. I've done things that are unspeakable. And no matter what city where I was, the GCW fan base, they would voice their opinion of me and how much they hated me. And over the last few months, since I've been released from prison, I think we had a situation where there was, wow, this guy hurts people really bad and possibly murders them. I don't know. And then there's snitching, right? And which one is worse, in my
Yeah.
opinion? Snitching. I think in most people's opinions, it's snitching. You never do that, especially to someone who you are loyal to, right? So the GCW fan base kind of started to side with me. It's a foreign feeling, but now the fuck yous seem like they're spoken with love in some odd, peculiar way. Maybe most of these people are the ones who are writing me letters. Maybe these are the people who will get root of all evil tattooed on the side of them. But yeah, no, that's definitely wasn't planned, but it's been embraced. I love it.
It's
So with
special.
Yeah.
and how are you gonna use that moving forward? Are you gonna keep using the fans "fuck yous" as motivation moving forward, or are we still in the "f the pores" situation?
I mean, it's always fuck the pores. It's always gonna be fuck the pores. Um, but I am using their fuck yous as motivation every time I'm out there, because it seems like I said, the fuck yous are with a little bit more love. I think they're starting to realize that they are lesser beings. I think they're starting to realize and accept that they are beneath me. And once you accept it, it's easier for you to just be with me and come along for the ride. And I think that, GCW, there's another company that's, they claim that they're for the sickos. GCW is for the fucking sickos, right? We love blood, we love violence, we love gore. We also respect someone going in there and doing moves that you couldn't imagine seeing before, like what I did to Gringo last week. Um, but yeah, I think anytime that I go in there and I put scissors in someone's mouth and I, put my nails into someone's face and carve out their skin till they're bleeding, I think they like that. It says a lot about them, maybe more than it does about me.
So we saw the different variations of Charles Mason's as you tweeted I think it was tweeted or posted on social media earlier. We got the new high flying lucha Charles Mason, while we also had a underground, as you said, a bloody ultra violent Mason. Can we see more of that side of Charles Mason moving forward in GCW?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. You mentioned earlier the pedigree in which I come from and so who has trained me. It's not that I just learned how to do this. Don't be mistaken. I've always been capable of doing this. Matter of fact, if you go back to that first match that I had at GCW against Ken Broadway, I went for a springboard 450. I missed it. So you win some, you lose some. But I've always been a superior athlete. I can do every move that you can think of. Let's just say that, right? It's just a matter of when is the right time and or what is the purpose and the use for it, right? When I'm trying to hurt you to as much as I can, I don't think a shooting star is the best method of pain, right? Like I said, maybe clawing your eyes out is the best. Maybe having a hook, a fish hook into in your mouth and ripping at your cheek is the best. Maybe my arms around your throat is the best and the most painful. But I also like to have fun. And when I hear when the crowd is screaming "fuck you," but they're with me, it does something to me. It does something. It makes me do some maneuvers that are a little bit out of character. I may hit a 450, right, like I did in the J Cup. I might hit that Hurricane Rana that I did on Gringo. I don't even know what to call that. It just happened in the moment. I don't know. But you're going to see a lot more of what I'm capable of. I think it's time to prove some people wrong and what they think about me.
And I think this goes into my next point. We on this podcast have talked about you as my presentation question earlier was kind of based off of this. We see in more of House of Glory those move sets that you're now starting to showcase more in GCW. Has there been maybe a shift in talent in GCW that's kind of making you go deeper into that bag that House of Glory didn't provide? Or maybe you see the success that those moves provided you in House of Glory and now you're going to maybe use it to your success in GCW?
I think it's a little bit of one more than the other for sure. My success at House of Glory, I think, is I'm starting to realize that maybe I need some of that at GCW. If you do look at some of my House of Glory matches and compare them to my GCW matches are much more violent, and I have a clear-cut goal to just accomplish as much pain as possible and inflict it as much as possible. And it's not necessarily about winning. Whereas at House of Glory, I've had championships to defend, and when I won the Crown Jewel Championship, I beat Low Key for that. And I had to have a blend of both, right? To beat someone like Low Key, you have to be as vicious as that man is. That man busted me open. He broke my nose in that match. He's also extremely agile and athletic, and he also wrestles in a suit. That's pretty fun.
I was gonna bring that up.
Every now and then he'll pull that out when he wants to get, whatever. I won't get too deep. He's a hitman, and I don't need someone chasing me while I'm chasing others. But in order to win that championship, I had to dig deep, and to defend it and keep other people from taking it, I had to dig deep every time. At GCW, I haven't had a title to defend, right? But I want one. There are two titles that I want, and they're both the top title in each, I guess, each company. I want the GCW Heavyweight Championship. I also want the JCW Heavyweight Championship. Whether it be I rip it from Effie, I've encountered Effie before, and I know what I can do to him, and he knows what I can do to him. I've also beaten Masha before at House of Glory, so she knows what I'm capable of. And I think it's time that I bring everything that I have so I can take those titles, and then when I have them, go back to hurting people as I defend them.
So this is interesting because to me, I feel like you have a cult of personality, and this could be where these fans, these followers are possibly collecting. I'm almost wondering, I mean, it sounds like this could be the start of an army. You know what I mean? It feels like there are people there that are enjoying what you're doing damn near as much as you are now. And I don't know, that just could be the GCW fans are just that damn sick, but you're unique. That's for sure. And, in a sense that you break their mind before you break their body.
For sure.
So I'm wondering, I know a lot of this is natural from what I've seen, but has there been someone that was before you that as you were growing up went, you know what, that's a stone cold killer? Did you study anybody whatsoever and went, you know what, that's my guy right there. I'm the next generation.
Um, that's a good question. A lot of this just came naturally, as you said, and I don't say that to try to um, discredit anyone before me. I'm not saying that I'm the first, but I am saying that I'm the first to do exactly what I'm doing. Um, there are people who have been maybe as gruesome as I have been, or have taken things further than I have. Maybe like in the deathmatch world, right? Now I haven't pulled anything from deathmatch wrestling. I respect deathmatch wrestling. I tweeted something the other day that I respect it so much that I'm not going to be just another person that dives into that world and just get some clout off of it, right? But to be able to do what I do and get away with what I do within the confines of a traditional wrestling match, I don't think there's anyone like me. The closest person that I could think of that enjoys inflicting pain as much as me, from a different side of the world, is Minoru Suzuki. Um, I've seen Minoru Suzuki laugh while he's hurting others, as I do, and I've also wrestled Minoru Suzuki. And I went into that match knowing that I was going to get in there with a sadist just like me. And I went in there trying to say who's going to break first, and none of us did. None of us did. So much so that when he put me in a power driver, I knew what was coming, and I just let it. I just embraced it. I just embraced it. You're taught to tuck your chin. No, I crushed my neck. I loved every moment of that. You don't believe me? Go watch. See my head get compressed. But that's really the only person in wrestling that I can think of that is anything close to what I am and what I do.
I love that comparison, and I'm going to save you, John, here on the mute button. So I absolutely love that comparison as a huge Suzuki fan myself. I agree here, though, with TJ. We need to see that match again in GCW.
I would love to do that again. Touching him for the first time, it was nice. I enjoyed it. His skin feels great. But I would like to do it one more time at GCW. I think is the place to do it at. New York is where we did it the first time, and there's a lot more rules there, right? There's a lot of restrictions on what you can do. You put me and Minoru Suzuki in Atlantic City or anywhere else that GCW goes, that's a little bit more free, and I think we'll have a lot more fun.
Now, you've made it no secret you enjoy methodically and obsessively stalking your targets, which at times has induced paranoia in some of your opponents. How do you pick those targets, or would you like to keep that a secret?
I can keep some of it a secret. I can share some things with you. I prey usually on weakness, and some would say that's predatory. But I am a predator, right? And all these people are my prey. Um, and in the food chain, I'm at the top. I'm at the top, and there's something that I enjoy, something very enjoyable about watching someone struggling, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, and then just pouncing on them and taking advantage of that, and just knowing that they know that with that struggle that they're going through, that it's about to get 10 times worse. And that realization is euphoric for me to see. When I had my sights set on Alley Catch, she was going through a period in her life where she wasn't aware of her value at GCW. She wasn't sure if Effie was the one, and we've seen this play out over some years, right? Where
Yes.
Effie was the one that was kind of carrying that team. And I forced her ultimately to become her own person, right? And sometimes I can have that effect where I go to prey on them and they persevere. And then there's someone like Jordan Oliver, who was extremely vocal about the pain that he was in and the pain that he was enduring and how he was overcoming it and how he would still go up against Mance Warner and up against other people like Fuego and push through that injury. And we see where he is now. Matter of fact, you don't know where he is now. We don't see where he is now. I don't know when we're going to see where he is. Maybe he's done, right? But that's the spectrum. You either overcome and persevere or you fall.
So you're finding it that you have a thrill to stalk someone. How long do you find that you're watching some of these? Is this days, weeks, months?
Sometimes it's days, sometimes it's weeks, sometimes it's months. There's been times where I've spent a full year watching someone. Not someone in wrestling, but someone outside. You know, sometimes it's minutes, hours. Sometimes it's a night out. And I see someone, maybe walking in the street, just left the bar, was all alone, it's cold. And they don't know where they're going, they're inebriated. And they walk down an alley, and it's just me and them. And they don't even know I'm there. And in those minutes, their life is gone, like that. And then sometimes it's a year. Like I said, I don't know. Sometimes it can vary. It can vary.
What does a wrestling-free Friday night, perfect Charles Mason Friday night look like?
The story that I just gave you. That's a beautiful night for me. That's a beautiful night. When I can find someone and I can take their body and their soul, bring it with me, and take it with me as I carry on through life, and they don't. Sometimes I like to bathe in their blood. You know, sometimes there was this one time where there was a man that we were. Where were we? We were watching a game. I'm a big Mets fan. You know, that's probably my biggest flaw. My biggest flaw is that I'm a Mets fan. We can't seem to win, but I think this year we have a good chance. But we were at a sports bar and we were watching the playoffs last year, and he left before the game was over, and I was kind of tired of seeing the Dodgers win, so I followed him out, and I was able to befriend the man, and he invited me into his home. We sat on his couch. We spoke a bit. We drank a bit, and I painted his walls red, and I spent the night there, and it kind of felt nice to, sleep in someone's bed who they didn't have a bed anymore. They didn't have anything anymore. They relinquished everything to me that night, and that's a beautiful Friday night for me, is knowing that I can take someone forever with me and away from everyone else.
Man, oh man, this is like a Jack the Ripper, and then also I feel a Richard Ramirez, like the Night Stalker kind of thing going on here. So I'm going to ask, because it kind of has that Night Stalker feel here. In any of these occasions, have there ever been any involvement of superstitions or rituals in this stalking of others? Or, because you're in their mind, but also they're in your mind here. So I didn't know if maybe this was, was it candles? Is there nothing at all? Is this a secret?
Are you like insinuating that I'm some type of Satanist, or I'm in the living room with the
I'm married to a Cuban, bro. Candles are part of the day.
Yeah, well, the wife does brujeria.
Santeria.
Santeria, same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. We can talk about that later.
Okay. But no, there's no rituals. I have things I like to do. I like to, smoke a cigar when I'm done, but there's no real rituals that go into what I do. Just I look, I find, and then I act, and that's it, really.
So we talked earlier about how you feel choking out wrestlers, and I've seen social media posts in the past. Russ, seen in the past, you choking fans as a meet and greet experience. What is the feelings you get from choking with the fans, and what are the most craziest experience doing that?
You know, it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet, right? Because I can only take it so far. We're in a public eye. There's people watching. People are paying. I make them sign a contract before I choke them. You know, I haven't been so public about that. Maybe I have. I don't remember. This is like my third one, so we'll see what happens. But I make people sign a waiver to make sure that if something was to happen, they can't sue me or anything like that. But it's bittersweet because I can't take it as far as I would like to. But it's really nice to be able to kind of like, usually it's before the show. So I warm up with some helpless fans and give them a little bit of a thrill. You know, there's people like this. These people enjoy it. This cult that whether I've realized it or not until right now, you're right. Maybe it's starting to form. The lines are around the building. People, like I said, they're pledging their allegiance to me. I don't know. So that's the sweet part. But the bitter part is that I can't go all the way.
Yeah, I kind of already did that one, John. You could go to the next one. Sorry.
Not a problem. All right. We've talked about the piano wire here earlier. What's the most creative weapon that you've used to date?
That's a good one.
You've been very creative.
Yeah, I've done quite a few things. You know, in LA, when I wrestled Effie had his wrestling is gay fan, the actual fan, and I took it, put it in his throat, and ripped it in his throat. That was great. When I wrestled Sheik, in what was that, Dallas WrestleMania weekend, I had constructed this noose, and this was what was this, that JCW LA Fight show, and I tossed it over the ceiling and I hung her. It was fantastic. It took both locker rooms to come out to stop me from hanging her. Those are two of my favorite. Those are the ones that stick out to me. I love the piano wire. Like I said, the plastic bag is one of my favorites. I forgot who it was. They probably didn't matter much, but I put the bag around their head, and they could not breathe at all. If it wasn't for the ref, they would have been dead in the middle of the ring. That was beautiful. Oh man, this weekend I used I put some scissors in someone's mouth. I used light tubes. That was cool. That was fun. I don't know. They don't do as much damage. They explode too easily. That's not like I ended up hitting someone with it. It exploded. Didn't do as much damage as people say it does. So I took the shards of it, put it on his forehead, and kind of grinded them with my boot. So that was nice. I waterboarded him same night. Man,
Damn.
I think you're a little too safe with the scissors that night, in my opinion.
Yeah, I might have been. I think I did it the wrong way, where I had him in his mouth and tried to open them, and I maybe should have put it like around the cheek and started cutting. I was in the heat of the moment. It was crazy.
I feel like we may have touched on this, but I'm trying to remember here. Who has been your favorite target?
My favorite target is, man, they're all so unique, and I love each and every one of them in their own way. You know, I don't have much in common with the killers that they kind of put in front of you on the TV screen and movie screens, but you know, I've heard them speak about how they kind of have a relationship with all of their victims, and I kind of feel that that's maybe where I'm at with it also. You know, someone like Allie, who I was in her home before she was. I watched her every move. That was fun. That was a nice, and she slept and woke up to blood drops on her face. It was fun to watch her every single move, to see when was the right time to hang someone above her. You know, then there's someone like Richard Holiday, who I had a personal vendetta, and it's not many times that it's personal. But to watch that man just hide in a corner of of his home or of a building and get police involved to protect him, to watch him quiver. That was great. Those are the two that stand out, you know. And there's someone I'm watching right now, and I know this is a GCW podcast, but there's someone over at House of Glory who has something that I want, and I've been watching his every move. I know where he works. I mean, everyone knows where he works, but I've been to where he works while he's there. I know where his daughter goes to school. I know where his father is buried, where he goes to visit. I know everything about that man. And it's not about, you know, what I do. It's about when I do it. It's about right place, right time. And right now, I'm having the time of my life. The time of my life watching him.
Wow. All right. So I'll tell you what, you go first here, B, because you have some. Yeah, this is very intriguing.
So, being that you have someone you have your eyes set on, is there any fear of any of your past victims coming back for some payback?
You cut out a little bit. Did you say some of my past victims coming back for payback?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I think you have someone in mind. I think you have one individual in particular that you are thinking about. I know you have a fascination with him. I don't know why. I don't understand it. I don't think he knows you exist. And I think that's one Jordan Oliver. And am I right?
Yes, you are.
I don't have to worry about Jordan coming back. I don't have to worry about Jordan at all. If Jordan comes back with a reconstructed knee and he's better than he was before, he still won't be good enough to hurt me, to beat me. I've been in the ring with him twice, 3 times, I believe, actually, 3 times. First time was during the J Cup. And I'll admit that I wasn't aware of who I was getting involved with. And then I met him in that gauntlet for the GCW title, which should have been mine, where I left him bloody. And whether you know it or not, I believe is the first time that knee started to rip apart. And I beat him. And then it was Toronto, where I destroyed that knee. There is nothing that Jordan can do when he comes back, if he comes back. The fear of me being the first face that he sees when he comes might be just enough to keep him away for good. I don't think that Jordan is the man that you think he is, but only time will tell.
Sincere apologies there. I thought my mic was muted for a minute. I didn't want to get in the middle there. Now, do you remember off the top of your head what the most brutal way that you ended a match was that left that crowd speechless?
Wow. I don't. That's a tough one. You know, sometimes the endings to these matches can get a little hazy for me. Let's think.
You've choked out quite a few people too.
I've choked out quite a few people. I've left. You know, when I wrestled Brian Keith, and I choked him out, I had a bodyguard at the time, someone who was doing my dirty work, and we kind of he was a little hoodlum, and as he would say, we put the beats on him. And post match, and we took Brian Keith with us to the back. He ended up getting away, or somehow there's too many people back there trying to help him. But the amount of pain that we inflicted post match was really nice. Man, I can't think of the most brutal way. I'm sorry. There might be something that sticks out for you. I mean, actually, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? We just spoke about Jordan Oliver when we were in Toronto. I'm sorry to bring that. It seems like it's a touchy subject for you. I promise he doesn't know who you are. And it's not because you're not a valuable person. It's just because I'm sure he doesn't have like the brain cells to understand who are the people that are talking about him. He's young, dumb, and broke. Admittedly, he probably can't afford his Wi-Fi to keep up to date with your program. But he no, when I dragon screwed his knee, and then he beat me that match because I was trying to choke him. But what is wins and losses at GCW, right, guys? You can get a title shot on him whenever you want. But post match, when I slammed his knee down with a chair, I ripped it against the post, and I wrenched it back again, and then his friends had to take him out of there. Was so-called friends. One of those friends was Charlie Tiger. I wouldn't trust him at all. But that was great. And look what it's doing to you. Look what it's done to you since that time. I've heard you speak about him prior to this podcast with me involved. I've heard you. You miss him. It's cute. It's sad, but it's cute, I don't know. I think you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
I hope you're wrong on that side.
I hope I'm right.
With so many wins that you've had, and the fact that you seem to have a method.
Sorry, you cut off. Say that one more time.
Super sorry. You seem to have a method to everything that you do. So I'm wondering after
you started it differently. You said something.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. It's late on the West Coast, brother.
Said with as many wins as I've had. I just wanted you to say it one more time.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Well, yeah, with as many wins that you've had, you've been able to have sort of a way of doing things. So my question then is, after a win, after you have spent months stalking this person and you finally had that finale, what kind of a meal does a billionaire eat to celebrate?
I mean, every time there's a glass of wine. A celebratory glass of wine. A nice red is what I prefer. Tonight I'm having white. Red, I would have been out already. I've had 4 glasses of red. But no, I just love a nice steak. Nothing with it. Just a nice steak. Rare. I like it a little bloody still. And steak and wine together, it's just.
Now, you're going to the airport, you're about to hit the private jet, checking in bags, and there's a suit stained in blood, not the standard wrestling tights. Has anyone not bought what you do for a living and had any true suspicions, or do you have to keep a video loaded so you can show others?
Oh yeah, that's the thing. I have constant proof of what I do, right? There's been times I'm going, and when someone like me, I have ways around it. I go on a private jet, no one is really checking my bags, but there's been a few times where I've had to take I've had to sit in first class. That's insane. Where they would check my bags and they would see bloodstains on them. And luckily I have a video or something loaded up, ready to go, whether it be from the match or from something else, that I can just hey, look, this is what I do. It gets a little crazy. And if you don't want me to do it to you, just let me go. And usually that slight minor threat is enough to get me through TSA.
So then I'll ask you here, because you're a man that has 2 different strengths. Which one of these serves you better, your money or your dark side?
I think that the money allows me to be the darkest that I can be. I think that if I lost all the money today, for some reason, I would still be Charles Mason. I would still be who I am. I would still be dark, and if that's what you want to call it. I think it's something beautiful. I think it's finding the light. Yeah, if I lost all my money today, I would still be me. If I lost the darkness and I would just be another man with money. And we're in an age where the rate of people, the 1% far outweighs the 99% like you, and it just allows me to kind of do what I want, when I want, how I want. And if anybody's ever close to finding out what I truly do, it's kind of easy to get rid of them, because some people need money a lot more than I do. And it's easy to kind of sway them and change their minds with a couple dollars.
Okay, I'm finding all of this intriguing. So forgive me if I go deeper here, but I have to ask.
I've never heard go deeper, but whatever, go deeper.
Who's the one person you'd love to sit down with and talk to, living or dead? And what would you both talk about in that conversation?
The answer I want to say, I can't say it. I just can't say it. But man, I would say, all right. There's no proof or anything. No one can ever tie this back to me. But if there was someone that I would want to have a conversation with, a one-on-one sit down, no one around us, just me and them can talk. It would be my first. My first. I won't say my first wife, but it'll be my first. And it's hard to talk about a little bit, but it would, that first person was kind of dear to me, near and dear. It was my mother, and she, when I was a kid, I wanted things, and I knew I was entitled to those things. And I don't like to hear the word no. People don't tell me no often. And she said it just one too many times. And I've always had this like monster growing inside me, this beast it's been brewing. And I was 13, I was becoming a man, and I couldn't hold it back any longer. And I wish I could say that it was fast, quick, painless, but it wasn't. It wasn't. It was years of the trauma that I suffered of hearing the word no, that I just let it all out. And I would love to sit with her, my beautiful mother, and just ask her, what were the thoughts that she had? Was she proud of me? Like, was she happy to see what I became? Was she proud that I acted on what she always knew was there? I know they knew. They would find animals. That's what I started with, right? Those aren't human beings. They didn't really count. I started with them, and she would find them, and she would question me about it. And that's when the no's kind of started too. She was like, don't do that. You're not going to tell me what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. I want to know what she thought of it all. Those moments, those last moments, just me and her. What did she think that her son, she birthed me. She brought me into this world. I am here doing what I do because of her. She could have been a better mother, but she wasn't.
Now, since we're back there, let's talk real quick. What do you think a young Charles Mason would find impressive, or what would they find impressive about who you are today? Because it sounds like you started young and you just built and got smarter and got stronger. And what would you say to young Charles Mason?
I would say that this is how you fucking do it. This is how you do it. Young Charles Mason was scared. He was terrified. He was scared of himself. Nobody else. Not the world around him. I conquered the world since I was young. I was birthed. It was my birthright. But I was scared of what I can truly become, what I was truly capable of. And this is what I was capable of. I've embraced it. I've mastered it. I'm the best version of myself. And this is how you fucking do it.
What do you think has been the biggest growth you've shown over the last year?
The biggest growth I've shown? I would say, maybe we can say my commitment to really finishing everything I start. Right? I've had that issue in the past. Sometimes I would get sidetracked. There would be moments in my life where I would find someone, I would stalk them, I would follow them, I would pick the time and day that I was going to act on it, and sometimes I would get bored and I would go on to something else. And it seemed like way too many times that I would do that, or I would procrastinate. And in the last year, when I have my eyes set on someone, I don't stop until I finish. Even if I'm bored, even if I don't want to do it, I have to. I have to. I owe it to myself. I owe it to younger self, to young Charles Mason, who I just said, if I want to show him that this is how you fucking do it, that I need to pull through every time. When I wanted Jordan Oliver's head on a stick, whatever, I settled for his leg. You hear that? I settled for his leg. Next time it can be worse. When I wanted to get out of prison, I did. When I wanted Richard Holiday and I wanted payback and revenge, I got it. As I said earlier, I want the GCW championship. I want the JCW championship. I want it. I'm going to get it. I am committed to it.
What are your thoughts on Pero and Holiday's current situation?
Fuck them. Okay? Fuck Barrow. Fuck Richard Holiday. Am I allowed to curse on here? It doesn't really matter.
Absolutely.
It doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah.
They have their own issues. They're in my past. They're in my past. I'm done with them. You know, I made the mistake. You know, and if I go off on a tangent, I don't care. I'm just gonna keep going. I know you guys got all night. You have nothing better to do. Paro joined me because we had a common enemy, and that was Effie. Effie and Ali, they were a joint thing, and I brought in Paro because I knew about his history with Effie, and I needed him out the way. And then Paro kind of just strung along and tagged along and stood by me, and I didn't always want him, and he needed me more than I needed him. And then, you know, I had my sights set on Richard Holiday, and I knew that we came from the same world. You know, we were both birthed into wealth, me more than him quite a bit. And he's, you know, has his own issues, but I trusted him way more than I should have, and it came back to bite me. Ultimately, in the end, I came out on the better side of it. For all I care, those two can fight on a raft somewhere and drown in the ocean. I don't care. I really don't. If I had to choose who comes out, you know, on top between the two, it's going to be Paro. But I don't care about them at all.
Now, you shared a lot so far. So I just want to say, though, because we can't get all the questions and answers in, is there anything else about you that you wish people knew better and you'd like to set that straight tonight?
I think that people need to understand that if you took away the darkness, if you took away the choking and the vitriol and abuse and pain that I inflict on others, if you took that all away and I entered that ring just like any other person that went in there looking to fulfill their 8 to 10 minutes, that I would do it so much fucking better than them. That even without this, I am better than these people. I'm trained by one of what people consider to be one of the best innovators of all time. I'm genetically superior to most people. I can do everything that these people think that they can do. I choose the path that I'm on. I choose to inflict as much pain as possible rather than win as much as possible. That is starting to shift. I want people to understand that I truly believe and consider myself the best person the best wrestler, if that's what you want to call me, the best wrestler on the GCW roster, on the House of Glory roster, and most likely any roster that I join. And you don't have to believe me now. I've showed it already. Most people know this already. But I'm going to continue to show it. Because that is the little thorn in my side, the little annoying voice in my ear and head that I hear that people say. I read the stuff. I read the comments sometimes. People think that I'm all this. I'm just all fucking character or whatever the fuck they want to call it. I'm superior in every way, and you're gonna see. You're gonna see. I'll have the gold to back it up.
So going into the biggest shows of the year, Collective Weekend, is there anyone you have your eyes set on going into that weekend?
Everyone. Kill them all is my mantra. Everyone and anyone. There are people who deserve it. Some people don't. Some people I've never met. But I'm on a mission right now. As I said, right? There's multiple shows. I haven't been announced for a single one. And I think part of that is Brett Lauderdale knowing that he this time he kind of booked a nice venue. And I don't know how much he wants that to be covered in blood or how many fines he wants to receive that I'm not paying for them, right? He'll have to pay them if we destroy the venue. But I haven't been announced yet. And that some people may see that as a bad thing for me. I see it as a good thing. It just lets me know that I can be as unpredictable as ever. And I can do what I want when I want it. Like I said in the beginning of this, I am a predator. And I am looking for prey. And when the time is right and the moment strikes, I will act on my desires. And it'll be a great day for me and a really bad day for whoever's on the other side.
This is incredible. I want to toss it over to the listeners who've been waiting. B, by any chance, do you have some questions over there coming from chat?
No. Yeah,
Jesus, Charles.
Let me take a deep breath here.
Mm.
All right. Here we go. Where we go? The intro video at Hammerstein. Keeping it is a good choice, Frank said. Can you talk a little bit about how that came together?
Keeping it is a choice, right? And it's, whoa, that felt good. It wasn't necessarily my choice. I don't, like I said, I don't compare myself to many other famed killers and people as such, whether they be fictional, non-fictional. I am the one Charles Mason, but I learned long ago that every promoter is a little bit of a carny, and that every promoter is going to find something, whether they agree with it or not, and they are going to milk it for whatever they can. And I wish I could say that the idea to have that as an entrance was my idea, but it wasn't. It was the man that runs this company, that runs GCW. And I think that tells you a little bit about him, right? And I think that what it tells you about him is the thing that's inside all of us, right? I just happen to embrace it more. But it certainly is a choice that I'm not against. I'm not against because if that video plays and it makes you, it helps you understand what I am, then that's part of the presentation, and so be it. And if it allows fans to chant "fuck you" with me or chant "fuck you" against me, regardless, they are chanting for me. So we're keeping it.
Great one asks on John's intro, was it good enough for John's own health?
Was the intro good enough for John's own health?
Yes.
Like, are you gonna would I spare you for now?
For now, I mean, you can see John in Vegas if you weren't too happy with
no,
with his intro.
I thought the intro was great. you did a good job of saying all my accolades and everything I've accomplished, right? But there's going to be more. So every time there is something new added to my resume, I need you to add that to it. And if I decide to one day call you up, because I'm outside your house, but you probably think I'm, a million miles away, and I say, recite this to me right now, and you don't, then things could change, right? I know where you live. It's not hard to find out. So yeah, just stay on your toes. Stay on your toes.
We've both been threatened tonight, B.
Threatened. All right. James Nader asked, how do you ensure your suit is pressed for every show or for the next show? And also, thank you for pulling his hood over his head. He'll try to be less poor next time.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, listen, you pointed out something that I know who you are, you piece of shit. You know how to get under my skin. And that was to insult my wrinkled suit at the show. It was a little wrinkled. It was, I had it thrown around. I didn't care for it that much, and it was a little wrinkled. So what? Most of the time, it's not, right? Usually, if I'm being honest, if we do the doubleheader, I'm pouring more wine. If we do the doubleheader at Atlantic City, I spend night one, I destroy whoever I'm in the ring with. I go home, right? I spend the night with my lovely wife, and yes, I'm capable of love, and then I come back the next day. It's not hard. I have a driver, and my suits are freshly pressed, and I decided to take Brett's offer on a night to stay at Atlantic City that night. So it just was a rare occasion, and my suit was a little wrinkled. Whatever, kill me for it, or I'll kill you. Who knows?
Jesus. Just so you guys know, the VOD is being taken down after this. We don't want to be investigated further in any evidence. Reed Harris Cooper asked,
hypothetically, all right, hypothetically speaking, I might kill you. I don't know.
Reed Harris asked, how does Charles feel about getting away with hypothetically killing people?
Listen, you show me a body. Show me a body. I don't know, man. You don't know where the fucking bodies are buried. Just listen, man. Show me the body, and then I'll answer that question. But if I was hypothetically getting away with it, it would feel like a nice game of cat and mouse where the mouse just keeps winning. But this mouse is just far superior than the cat. And I'm going to keep on running until, someone has something concrete on me. But who knows? Last time someone did, I was able to get out of it. And then we had a new president, and the president pardoned me. I'm a wealthy man. That's what he does to wealthy people. He pardons them no matter what. I don't know.
Great one asked, kind of what we were talking about earlier. He wanted to ask about the recent integration of the high flying into moveset. I don't know if you want to go any further or not.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I'll answer it again. It's a lot. We've been on this for an hour and a half. I know it's hard to pay attention. Poor people brain cells, they don't function the same way mine do. I remember every single word of this podcast, but you don't, and that's fine. I was saying that I was trained by Amazing Red, dude. Like, I've been trained by Amazing Red. His name is Amazing Red. Like, he has, I pay him a lot of money. I pay him a lot. That's why he doesn't take as many bookings as people want him to take. He doesn't really need to. I pay him. I don't pay him as much anymore. He doesn't train me anymore. I've kind of like exceeded what he ever expected from me. He didn't think it was going to get this crazy, but it did. But before that, name a move. I think I can do it. It's just fun to kind of like bring it out now. And it's been years, right, that you've watched me just fucking choke people out a little bit. And just a little bit, right? Just a little bit of the choke. So when you see me do some high fly stuff, it wows you, but it doesn't wow me. It's just another day.
All right. Reed Harris Cooper asks about your theme music and choosing a slowed down, off tempo country song. But he's going to ask anyway. He's scared. So I'll ask on his behalf, I guess.
So the question is, what is my song, or?
I guess he's asking, did you slow it down or have you chosen a slowed down, off tempo country song before?
So, I mean, the song, I will keep the mystery there. Some people are starting to find out what it is. And
I think they should check out your YouTube link that you
they
have on your
should.
intro
That's
music.
that's what I was gonna suggest, right? If you go to my
Yep.
YouTube page, you can it says Charles Mason theme song, and there's a fine description of how I manipulated the music, how I came to it, right? And it's beautiful. I don't know if you're capable of putting that in the chat. Put
I
it in
am
the
doing that right now.
I think it's time for people to see
I'll share it.
hear the song and enjoy it, and I reveal it to the world. Why not? After all these years.
All right, there we go. It is in the chat, so any further questions, you could check it out there.
Yeah, I think you'll have a great time listening to that. You have spoiled yourself another day, by the way. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you. One day of collective I could enjoy. Looking over my shoulder now. James Nader asks, and this is I was going to kind of touch base with this earlier, talking about Pero and Holiday. Any chance we'll see more goons soon?
I think the gooning, the goon life, may be behind me. My best friend. I don't have many friends. I don't have any friends. There's not many people that I can relate to, except for one who I have more in common with than anybody else. That's my good friend Slade. But Slade has, he's done so much for me. He is an original goon. He's so much of an original goon that he's a mercenary. Back when I had mercenaries and not goons, and he's been loyal. He has been effective, and he's become a friend. He always will have a special place in my heart, and I will always be loyal to him until I'm not. But there are no goons. I am a one-man show. I know what I can do by myself. I know what I'm capable of, and I don't think I'm gonna need help anymore. Look where it's gotten me, right? In the past,
Right.
when I've trusted people, I don't think I can anymore.
Yeah, you're too hands-on.
Yeah. And there's a lot of truth to that. I'm too hands-on. I can't. I find it hard to work with others. That may be another flaw of mine. I don't work well with others. I want everything to myself. I want my victims to myself. Whenever someone else tries to get their hands in, it just ruins everything. And I think I'm better off alone.
Ishmael Carmichael asked earlier, do you have a hit list currently to go after?
I do.
And he has a picture of Fuego.
Oh, Fuego. Fuck Fuego. Fuego was like, he's a little bit of a hothead recently. He's kind of in the middle of I would say this is cool, right? This Fuego is in the middle of something with someone who is on my hit list. Let's just leave it at that. There's someone that he's been encountering recently that I think there's something really special about a possible encounter with someone. You're muted. I can see your lips moving.
I'm speechless. I know I'm literally speechless because yes, I think that is something a lot of people are asking for, and that will go into the next question here. Draven asks, would you like to wrestle one Atticus Cogar?
No. I would love to fight Atticus Cogar. I wouldn't want to wrestle him, right? I don't know what that looks like, but I would like to fight him. I think people would want me to fight him. I think that Atticus Cogar spent a lot of time away from GCW. And when I was coming in, he was leaving. And I don't know if I want him back. I don't know if I like him here. I don't know if anybody does. I don't really care what other people think usually, but something feels off. And if I have to be the monster that has to handle the other monster, then so be it. But maybe that's not meant to be. Who knows? Only time will tell. Maybe Fuego, your boy Fuego, can take care of him. But if not, Brett, if you're tired of him, if you want him to go, you know who to call.
I'll ask this question just because after that sip of wine. We've had other people in the last couple of weeks in chat, and we've ourselves discussed kind of the similarities to Atticus. What are your thoughts on possibly being compared to something that he does, or that you have kind of, as you said, were doing when he's gone, and now kind of doing stuff similar to you?
I don't. All right. Right. So if you want to dig deep into this, right, I don't really see where the similarities could be as far as me to him, but I can see from him to me. I come from wealth. He comes from Ohio, right? That I don't need to go deeper into that part. He's self-admittedly spoken about how he comes from a life full of like drug use and just poverty. I don't, right? I think he does what he does for as a means to survive. He does what he does as a means to gain the little money that he can. I do what I do for pleasure. I do what I do because I want to, because I love it, because it feels good to me, because it awakens something in my body, right? It's a part of my leisure. It's more than that. I'm not giving it enough credit. It is my purpose in life to hurt other people, to hurt poor people, and poor people come from Ohio. But I was the first person to unmask Fuego. I unmasked him right before I went to prison. He was the last opponent I had before I went to prison. He only won because of Richard Holiday. And now Atticus comes in, and he has his little thing with Joey Janela, who I've also encountered in the past at GCW. And now he's going after Fuego. I don't know. He's just going after my sloppy seconds. I don't know. I don't know how much of a comparison there is to me and him. What? Because he also makes people bleed, and all that. And we can both get a little violent. Right? I find pleasure in the violence. I don't know how much pleasure he finds in it, whether he is giving it or receiving it. I think he needs to do it. Without this, he's nothing. Without this, I'm everything.
I feel like both of you have a level of creativity that's well above average. I think that's where some comparison comes in. And then also, it seems that both of you are always on offense. So I think the intrigue may be who gets on top of whose business first here. And it sounds like you have already scouted your target.
I mean, hey, listen, the hit list is long, right? The list of people that I want to go after and have things that I want or need is a bit lengthy. It's in GCW, it's outside of GCW. As far as creativity, I will say that man is creative. As far as the videos he puts out, the commitment to who he is and what he wants to share with the world and kind of like convince people of what he is. I think there's a lot of convincing that he does. Whereas for me, I'm not trying to convince anyone. I'm just sharing with you who I am. Right? For me, I am this. I don't need to prove to you I am this. But yeah, we are both on the offense, right? So I think if you had two trains just coming towards each other, eventually they collide, and it causes a wreck. And I think if me and him ever collide, that's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see a wreck. It's gonna be destruction. It's not gonna be pretty, but it's gonna be beautiful. If that makes any sense.
In a sick way, it does, and I think a lot of people definitely want to see that crash happen.
And your network is so large. I just want to say, Atticus could be your number one target, and he could just be number 7 for you on any given week.
100%, right? He could exactly. He could want me and have his full attention on me, and I could have my attention on several other people, and or or he could think that we are so similar that I wouldn't go for him. Meanwhile, I'm watching every single move that he makes. I don't know. Both are possible. Both are terrifying in their own ways.
I've got just a couple more quick questions here. We'll finish out here. I'm just wondering, being who you are, is there a possibility you collect anything?
I used to. I used to have quite a collection. I would take things from people that from people. Let's just leave it at from people. I would, keep those by me. And then, with Richard Holiday, one of those collectibles kind of he brought to light, right? And it was used against me. So since then, I haven't really collected anything from, and it's kind of heartbreaking. I just had a nice box. I had a box, and it had, whether it be the weapon, whether it be teeth, or a necklace, or just something that belonged to the person, I would keep it with me, and it was a really nice collection. I had to bury it somewhere because who knows who would use it against me, right? And now I don't know, I'm becoming an old man. I feel like I collect baseball jerseys. I really like baseball jerseys. So I like rare old baseball jerseys.
Nice.
So I have to ask, you mentioned a conversation with Brett about the Mets. How does a typical conversation like that go?
About the Mets with Brett?
Yes, I would love to hear how one of those conversations
How much
go.
crying is done?
We all right. So I mean, we spoke more about the Mets when they were doing well in the playoffs last year. And it was a hell. I don't know how much you guys are into baseball, but it was a hell of a season. The playoff push was amazing, and then we met the Dodgers. But whatever, right? All good things come to an end. Are any of you LA boys? One of you is.
No.
Right?
No.
I'll go to LA every now and then.
That's a good answer. Okay, it's a good answer. You better not be LA boys. Anyways, fucking no, we talked about it. I came to the last show in Atlantic City with a Jose Iglesias shirt, and he liked it, and we bonded over that. We don't bond very much, but I think he's scared of me a little bit still. So every now and then he'll find a way to like weasel a little conversation in there and talk about the Mets, and then he goes, "Please don't do nothing crazy tonight." And I go, "Maybe not. I don't know." And, last show he had his kids with him, and I was like, "All right, maybe I'll take it easy tonight because the kids are here." But there's also the side of it. You start them young. Maybe they see it for the first time and they can embrace who they are. It's how it happened with me. But maybe me and Brett can go to a Met game together this year. And instead of him sitting in the 500, 400 sections, I can bring him on down and we could sit right behind home plate. I have season tickets.
I'll say with Soto, their tickets are definitely more expensive this year compared to last, probably.
They were more expensive, but not, I don't know. It didn't make a dent in my my account or anything like that. It was just a few, maybe a few thousand more. But yeah, I don't think he's ever seen it that up close. So I can do that for Brett. I can do that for him. Maybe he gives me one of those free GCW World Championship matches that people just have. I don't know. Maybe that's what it's. Maybe people have been taking him to Met games for the last 2 years.
He's staying on your good side. He's staying on your good side. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, maybe.
You've been everywhere. I mean, that's just the nature of what you do. In your travels, have you fallen in love with any of the area, the country, or the world that you'd consider maybe having a vacation spot or a second home?
Second home. I'm Puerto Rican, and I love going to Puerto Rico. Wrestling is not what I've never wrestled in Puerto Rico. I go to Puerto Rico for vacation, and just to see where my family's from. My beautiful mother I spoke to you about, is from Puerto Rico. God rest her soul. But as far as places wrestling has taken me, okay, here's a fun one, right? We went to Dallas. Was it Dallas or Houston? Somewhere in Texas, big state. And of all people, Perch referee Perch. We spent the day together. Let me tell you something about Perch, right? Perch, there's something going on inside of Perch. I've been trying to get Perch to get this out for a while. Perch is an odd fellow, dude, and I just know that he's putting up a front and he's doing what everybody thinks he wants him to present, and he's this nice guy. But Perch, if you're listening to this, Perch, it's okay. I'm here. I will guide you. It's a hard transition from being just going through normal life and embracing who you really are. I know there's people in your basement. You don't have to hide anymore, Perch. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You probably never even talked to Perch. Just look on his face. You see, that's a guy. He's from Wisconsin.
We've seen that his outburst a few times, yes.
Yeah, he's from Wisconsin, and you know, me and him, we get along. I think we have chemistry. Something in our DNA is just bonding us together. So, but back to the main question. Texas was nice.
Well, Perch, I mean, maybe down the road he's for hire. You could use a referee in your back pocket.
I don't want to hire him. I don't even want him to be a referee anymore. I just want him to embrace this thing that's growing in him. I know it's there. He's in Wisconsin. There's a lot of land, man. Like you can hide in plain sight. No one's gonna know. Who the fuck lives in Wisconsin? Brett Favre? I don't even know if he still lives there. He's like ripping off
Brett Favre.
I love it. It's so great. He's like taking money from the poor, giving it to the rich. That's how God intended. Perch, man. If you're listening, Perch, it's
Perch.
It's
Perch is a listener. Perch is a regular listener. He loves to listen to us on the road, so he's getting the message.
It's better now than ever.
Now, I want to go back for a second. Because a lot of the stuff you were talking about are things you probably can't show on video. By any chance, is there anything for show and tell that you'd be possibly nearby? I would have given you a forewarning and you could have grabbed a jersey, but I don't want to pull you away.
Get any of us in trouble.
That's very far. It's down like I have a long hallway and it's in one of the closets.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's very far to show you a jersey. I have this really nice Ricky Henderson Oakland A's jersey. Ricky Henderson just died like last year. Rest in poverty, but whatever. It's a nice jersey. It's one of my favorite. I love the old Oakland A's jerseys. They're sick. They're not even in Oakland anymore. They're one of Las Vegas, I think.
Yeah. So what's going on there is like a lot of the poors can't afford Yankees tickets or even Mets tickets. So what they'll do is they're waiting to come to Vegas so they can do the Vegas thing and then get cheaper tickets to the game out here.
Are you into baseball even a little bit?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. I don't even know if they're actually going to get to Vegas. I hope they do, and I hope they give them like a cool name. But instead of Vegas, maybe we'll go to a game together when we finally make that move.
Hey man, it's out. It's going to be just a couple years, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to do. But yeah, I mean, it's just like football too. People are coming out here to have the Vegas experience, and it's a little cheaper sometimes than their home ticket availability.
The Raiders. That's not a great team to have. I mean, I'm a Jets too. That's not fantastic.
Yeah.
But we have one of the richest owners. I'm a fan of teams with rich owners. You guys have the Raiders.
They're here, but I don't know how many actually like them here.
Yeah, you guys signed a bunch of criminals. That one dude did 80 and killed a person. But I like the kill a person part, but doing 80.
Yeah, Raiders are like at a kill count of about 1 a year.
Yeah. Bet the over. All right, bet the over.
I think we found a big flaw here. We might have found the deep-rooted issue here with Charles Mason, the Jets and a Mets fan.
I am also a Knicks fan.
Wow. Oh,
shit.
You know what? I think like that may be where this all comes from.
That's just the start there. We're getting there.
Shit. It's just the worst. Like just years. I've never seen not one parade. I've never seen victory once. Not one time in my life. I'm 31. What am I doing? Killing people. I can't say that. I'm doing bad stuff to people. I'm gonna do it to them. Like if they don't win this year, Juan Soto, watch out.
Charles Mason in a championship parade. That's a fish in a barrel there.
And I want to go back just for a second on the Fuego del Sol thing, only to say that next week we're going to have Fuego del Sol on the show. So I think that there's a couple things Fuego needs to address that we heard here tonight.
Like what? Tell me.
Oh, man. I just have a feeling here that I don't know. I don't know if he's going to like everything you said about him.
You know, I've said some bad things. I've done some bad things to Fuego. You guys watch his match against Zack Sabre Jr.? That's a good match.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good match. I think he has like a fire that has lit under him, you know.
And I was gonna say, you talked about it earlier, popping his knee. That might have been, you said some people either step up to the plate and get better, or some people sink and don't swim.
I am that like a constant. I am when you eventually you have to meet me. You have to get in front of me. You have to share the ring with me. We're gonna encounter one another, and it's either you sink or you swim. As you said, I didn't know you knew that like term, sink or swim. You know, you dropped out like 3rd grade probably. But
I'm a PE teacher, so yeah.
You're a PE teacher? You're grotesque. How the hell are you teaching physical education?
Just roll the ball out there.
PE
And
stands for, by the way. I don't know if you know that. PE stands for physical education.
I had this education part. I always forgot about the first one.
Yeah. You thought physical started with an F.
Yeah. I saw a lot of F's in my day, yeah.
First of all, I just want to say here, I'll go this way, thank you so much for bringing us into your world tonight. I had no idea what we were in for, and this is just absolutely fantastic. You can even see in chat, people are blown away by what they're learning tonight.
I hope so, man. I gave you guys a lot. It's because those fuck you chants got a lot nicer. The rhythm, it's just sweeter.
Also, I think Mason's glass of wine count is very close to DeMonto's blunt count too.
I was gonna say we're gonna need a ticker here soon.
I don't do the marijuanas. I don't do that poor people drug. I do bigger ones like other drugs. But wine that's my vice. That's my vice.
Is there any wrestlers you'd like to shout out right now?
Wrestlers, I like to shout. Come on, who you're talking to? Charles Mason, dude. I don't fucking care about anybody else. Who am I going to shout out?
Oh, fucking love it. By any chance, is there anything that you'd like to promote that you have coming up that people need to watch out for?
This Saturday, I'm wrestling at Blitzkrieg. Yeah. And I'm wrestling Cruel. You guys know Cruel?
Oh, yeah. I've been wanting to get him in GCW for a while.
Yeah. So he's a big dude. Scary dude to other people. I don't know. There's something about this, right? I do what I do. I show my face. I'm on a podcast. You know who I am. You know the person doing the deed. And then there's Cruel, who hides behind whatever mask is. He lives in a swamp. He thinks he's Jason Voorhees. I don't know. But let me tell you something. I've watched that dude hurt some people. And it's pretty nice. I like to watch it. But now we're going up against each other. And I kind of feel like my I don't know, the alpha in me is kind of being like targeted. So we'll see who comes out on top. Either me or Cruel. It's probably going to be bloody. It's probably going to be violent. I should be on IWTV. GCW podcast. We don't like IWTV, or is that a thing of the past?
No, man. We're independent as hell. We love all that stuff. We're good, man.
7 cups of wine in. That shit is.
I say we're gonna see how much we can go, but
no, it's good, man. I think he would be great. You and him would actually be great together on the same team in some way. Having him as your enforcer would be incredible.
We've never met. I'm gonna meet him on Saturday. I'm gonna fucking cave his face in. I'm probably gonna try to take the mask off, show the world who he really is. But maybe he lights me on fire, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. After that, I don't know where I'm at. Oh, House of Glory, April 25th. I'll be there. I'm wrestling a person. I'm fighting somebody. If it was up to me, it would be Mike Santana. But you know, the people who run that company, Brian XL, Amazing Red, Mike Santana, they like him. I don't know. They don't want to see him hurt. He got his Puerto Rican show coming up soon. They're probably just gonna like protect him until then. They know what I'm capable of. I've heard him a few times already, but they won't give me a fair shot. They had me as their champion before. I didn't think they enjoyed that, me being like a representation of their company. So they want, Mike Santana, TNA roster member, as their champion. But that might be the guy I've been watching. I told you I know someone who I've been watching someone I know where their daughter goes to school. I know where their father is buried. If those things apply, maybe they do, maybe they don't. Do the math. I know it's hard for you, but maybe it's him. I don't know.
All right. Also, I believe for anyone who's willing to look at any gear, rootofallevil.bigcartel.com. Is that where you're at?
Rootofallevil at bigcartel.com. You can buy some shirts. You can buy 8x10s. Hey, my favorite thing about the 8x10s is that I will write a personal message to you.
Oh.
If you've gotten one before, if you purchased a 8x10 from me before, you can attest that it is a very personal message. Even if I have never met you, sometimes I will find where you live, because obviously I need to send it to you. And I will visit where you live, and then I would write it out. And I'm this part very true. And then I got some shirts there. I have my suit that is covered in my blood. So if you want to take my DNA and, I don't know, do what you will with it, try to extract what makes me so great, you can do so for $400. And my full bloody suit with my very own blood, brought to you by Charles Mason.
Science is amazing. There may be a bunch of little Masons running around somewhere you don't know about.
That's the goal. Listen, first off, I want my wife to hear it. But there's definitely 1,000 little Masons running around that we don't know about. All right?
Yeah.
But 1,000 more? Who knows? Who knows what the Mason... You said I have some followers going on? I got all these Masons running around, and some followers. Take over the world. Kill the poor. Feed the rich.
It's like the Manson family. We have the Mason family.
Whoa.
It's possible.
Come on, man. A guy had a swastika on his forehead, I think. I saw pictures. Too far.
Yeah, he's a wild one. He doesn't make a lot of friends.
No.
Is there anything else you wanted to mention, B? I don't want to take a ton of time, and we've took about an hour and 40 minutes with the gentleman.
I just wanted to make sure, promote here down low, Root of All Evil, bigcartel.com, buy the merch, and doing that just so that way I don't get choked out possibly collective weekend.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. Those are the only things I use. Someone's been trying to pressure me into making a TikTok. I don't like that. Facebook is for old people. That's really all I have. And I will say that if you follow me on social media, not that I care so much about followers, I really don't, but I think that I do. I think that I do some good work on social media. So if you're into this, follow me.
Yeah, I can say for sure Charles is definitely active over there. And if you're looking to follow someone that, will provide more than just one show on Saturday and one show on Friday night, Mason's giving you something to chew on all week.
I'm chewing on something.
Well, Mason, I'd say just stick with us here. We're gonna do the outro real quick, and then we'll tell you goodbye on the other side of things. Is that good?
Let's do it. I usually say goodbye on the other side, but this time you can say goodbye on the other side.
All righty here. What do you say, B? Let's do this.
Yes, thank you again, Charles. And thank you, fans. Great questions. And yeah, that was definitely a roller coaster, and be watching my back.
Awesome.
All right,
let's rock and roll, buddy. Long
live
GCW. Love y'all. Good night.
I will kill every single one of you, I promise.